Drop handlebars come in a variety of sizes, but they're not all created equal. They can drastically affect the reach on your bike, and therefore, how comfortable you are. There's so many options out there, we asked professional bike fitter James Thomas to rank them from worst to best.
Okay, so the first handlebar on this list is really only specific to owners of the giant Propel. It's the Contact SL Aero handlebar. This is one of the more idiotic designs that I've seen in the industry because it is completely oversized, which means that you have no adjustment for rotation of the handlebar. What that means is that on a smaller bike, the handlebar is going to be planned more upright. And on a bigger bike, it's going to be more flat because the angle of the handlebar is going to be dictated by the head angle of the bike. You need to have rotation. I guess this is one of the problems with integrated cockpits as well, is that they are dictated by the head angle of the bicycle. But the Contact SL in particular has a stupid reach. It's got very, very short drops as well. And frankly, I just can't see any reason why I would ever want to use it. So, sorry, Giant. Next on my list is the Ritchey Pro Logic ergonomic handlebar. This handlebar firmly belongs back in the early noughties, has relatively long reach. It's got a step in the drop, which means you're never going to be able to hold it comfortably when you're on the drops. And to be honest with you, it's a design that we see less and less these days with the move towards kind of more compact and new ergo shapes, most of which we're going to be looking at for the rest of today, apart from the Bontrager VRC handlebar. Now, this is a handlebar that you don't actually see very much now on Trek's higher end bikes, but certainly on their more entry level bikes, the VRC bar shape has an exceptionally long reach. As it happens, the shape is actually quite nice, in my opinion. It's got a nice shape on the drops to it, but the problem with the reach is that it adds a lot of excessive reach to the front of the bicycle. Combine this with the fact that most Trek bikes come out of the factory with the hoods in the wrong place, you're talking about an extra 30 or 40 millimeters of excessive reach added to the front of the bike, which typically renders saddle issues, hand issues, neck and shoulder issues, all this kind of stuff. So if you have bought a Trek in the last few years and it is a more entry-level model, consider getting rid of the handlebar. Also consider maybe reducing the width of it at the same time by just one size. So every bar following on from here now, to be honest with you, I quite like. They've all got a reasonable shape, but they do have varying functionality behind them. We're going to explore that a little bit more. So the next on the list is the Specialized Short Reach bar. And unlike many handlebars out there, the Short Reach bar does actually have a very short reach. It's 65 millimeters, which is 5 mil shorter than, 10 mil shorter than a comparable Deda handlebar, allowing us to get the controls of the bicycle close to the rider. So it's quite often a handlebar that we'll use as a means of lopping off more reach off the front of the bike if the bike is still a little bit too long. Comes in a number of different sizes from I think 36 all the way up to 44 in 2 centimeter increments, and it's comprised of aluminium construction and it's about 30 or 40 pounds and not very expensive. So it could be a good way if your bike feels really, really long of lopping off a bit of reach. It's also quite cost effective. Due to the more complex integrated nature of bicycles these days, we are having to find ways of swapping handlebars out, because when a customer buys a bike from us, we swap the handlebar out free of charge. Same with the stem, the seat post, the saddle and the cranks. We have been on the constant lookout for handlebars that are ACR and DCR compatible, i.e. they have ports for the brake hoses in the back of them. The Deda 02 handlebar ranges from a 38 centimeter all the way up to a 44 and is a nice flat top aluminium bar with Deda's proprietary 75 millimeter reach, 128 millimeter drop. It's got a nice ergo top to it, like I say, and to be honest with you, relatively inexpensive at £58. The main benefit of this handlebar, and the reason why I'm talking about it, is because it represents probably one of the cheapest integrated compatible handlebars on the market, but also still offering a reasonable fit range. For our slighter individuals, the FSA Energy Super Compact. Now, this Theoretically, again, it's ACR compatible, so you've got a port in the back for it for your brake hoses. Technically, this comes in as small as a 36, although the 36 actually measures as a 34. So we find this quite often with our female customers that they need something that is narrower than the more conventional 36. We go down in this shop as low as 32 centimeters. I'm going to talk about that in a minute. But this is the narrowest ACR/DCR compatible handlebar that we've been able to find. It's only available in aluminium, about 134 pounds, but this is one of the handlebars that usually makes its way onto the kind of Pinarello X bikes that we'll quite often sell to smaller women. For even smaller riders, we import these at great expense, and this is the Fouriers HB RA012-A6-T. I mean, could you not have thought of a better name for it? This has been a real game changer for us, particularly for our smaller individuals, our female cyclists, who, as we mentioned in another video, we usually find female cyclists measure across the shoulders between 38 and 32 centimeters. 32 centimeter handlebar, as far as most shops are concerned, doesn't even exist. Well, here's one. They are relatively cheap, 50 quid, and they've got a 75mm reach, 128mm drop, but the main thing is that we've got it in a very, very narrow handlebar package, and it allows us to get the fit absolutely perfect for most of our customers. Just so that you're aware, the benefit of a narrower bar, particularly with regards to women, is it makes it easier to reach the brake levers. It typically results in less of a need for the rider to roll their wrist, usually resulting in hand numbness or pins and needles or tingling, and generally results in a little bit more confidence. No thanks to the ability to reach the brake levers. For the bike packers among you, I particularly like this one. So this is a 0100 bar, or it's actually a gravel 100 handlebar. It's based on Deda's fantastic 0100, one of our best selling handlebars. It's a triple-butted aluminium handlebar with an ergonomic shape to it. But this one has 12 degrees of flare. Goes all the way down to a 38 centimeter, which is relatively uncommon for flared handlebars because of this kind of walk towards, a wider bar for gravel riding. Which in my opinion is nonsense, like I said. It's Di2 compatible, but not ACR compatible. So if you have an integrated bike, tough titties, I'm afraid. But it's got a nice reach, nice shape, nice drop, and I've actually got one of these on my moves. This is a relatively unconventional concept. It was actually, and I'll give Special A's their dues, this came about with the idea of the hover bar. Some people might remember the FSA did a wing bar called the K-Force or the K-Wing handlebar, which appeared to have a rise to it, but actually where the control located it then dropped off again. So it wasn't really a riser bar, it was just a kind of ergonomic handlebar. Anyway, the benefit of this system is that it brings the front end up by 20mm. So without the need for stem inversion or additional spacers, you can bring the front of the bicycle up, bring the contact points of the bicycle up just by fitting one of these. They come in 38, 40, 42, 44 and 46 centimeters with a little bit of flare on them as well. And it's, again, a relatively ergonomic top. But the main thing is, the main reason for talking about this handlebar is the fact that it does step up. It's a riser bar. That is the genetic riser. So there we have it. Those are my favorite handlebars, apart from the three at the beginning. And if you have any questions, write a comment in the comment section below. Moo!